Hello all, I am Z Enforcer. I played a lot of Dragon Ball FighterZ in my days, and today I'm going to be reviewing MK11 from a Dragon Ball FighterZ player's point of view. I have a friend named Blue Candyman doing the same, except the opposite, where he is an MK11 player going over Dragon Ball FighterZ overview of the entire game. All buttons in this video are going to be going by the Xbox controller for easier understanding for MK11 players, since that is the default. Combos. First off, I want to go over the combo structure of this game. Through my time trying to do combos, I realized that you cannot simply mash inputs one at a time. Instead, you have to press multiple buttons at the same time or as one input, which was very hard for me to adjust to. In fact, I'd say I never really went and got a decent combo. Very difficult to adapt when you have learned to mash combos with timing that Dragon Ball FighterZ would have. The directional move inputs were very odd, because in Dragon Ball FighterZ you'd have inputs like quarter circle forward or quarter circle back, or you could go down down or 2-2 on numpad, so that's better. But with MK11, forward back or back forward is a common input. Pressing multiple buttons for different block strings was another interesting thing. In Dragon Ball FighterZ, you couldn't really do this, but you could alternate buttons, like light to medium to heavy to key blast. Dragon Ball FighterZ has a combo system similar to Marvel vs. Capcom, with juggling and smash attacks to end. I noticed that most of the long-range base neutral revolves around input-based projectiles and unblockables. In MK11, the way you could counter these are universal mechanics to crouch, jump, or dash. You could also block the non-unblockable moves with low chip damage, or flawless block to get rid of the chip. No super dash makes comparing these very odd, because it is an odd mechanic, even when compared to Marvel vs. Capcom. Footsie/frame data. Most of the characters have a move to poke the component, whether it has good frame data or not. Compared to Dragon Ball FighterZ, this game is very footsie related, looking for an opportunity to hit the opponent back and possibly reset to the neutral game, which makes the game feel very slow-paced, especially compared to Dragon Ball FighterZ. Cancelable moves are very similar to Dragon Ball FighterZ. As well, it can be used for spacing, like ending a string with 5A or 5S on Dragon Ball FighterZ for distancing. Whiff punishing is very important when it comes to MK11. Whiffing a move can cause the opponent to counter with a move that can end in a sum of damage with your character, especially with crushing blows. With Dragon Ball FighterZ, you could vanish to escape a bad situation, which takes a bar and can be punishable with the character's anti-air, or 2B or 2H, or possibly a DP or Dragon Punch. Setup/Oki. Character setups can be anything from whiffing a long sequence move to counter up wake-up mashing, or make them block and stagger or 50-50, like Sub-Zero's Ice Sheet. Another thing I saw was Rambo's Mind being used for setups to keep them in the corner, etc. Or maybe even to read a jump. In Dragon Ball FighterZ, you could throw up a move that could land frame perfectly. For example, Boo's Fat Throw and Base Vegeta's 2A or 2S. Jumping/dashing. This is the thing that threw me off when I played this game. You cannot simply jump around freely, as the opponent has countermeasures to bamming jump. This includes no super jump, air dashing, or air blocking, which again plays into the fact that, compared to Dragon Ball FighterZ, this game is heavily revolved around footsies. Amplification, EX, and Fatal Blow. Something that really intrigued me was having 2 bars of amplification, one for offense and one for defense, each having 2 of what I'm going to call charges from now on. Defensive charges can be used for wake-ups or breakouts. 2 of these I know very well, as I played Injustice back in the day. While offensive can be used to amplify special moves that can deal more damage, restand, allow for follow-ups and mix-ups, and more. Now we get to Fatal Blow, which only activates when you're at 30% health. In comparison, I'd see this as a comeback mechanic, while at the same time being a level 3 with cool cinematics. If it is blocked, then the opponent can counter back, and it'll eventually come back, which is interesting in case you whiffed it. Blocking. Compared to Dragon Ball FighterZ, MK11 has a block button, which I had to grow upon because when compared to Dragon Ball FighterZ, you block with a directional input, a very hard change to get accustomed to, especially compared to that. As well as 3 blocking methods to block an opponent. A normal block, or a mid, where it's not a low or a high. A low, where you have to guard low, or hold down block, or a high, where you have to block high. Variations. A unique part of this game that I've noticed is the variations that characters have, allowing for different movesets or theme builds, which I have heard some to be overpowered and banned in tournaments. Compared to Dragon Ball FighterZ, the closest thing we have is being able to change the character's assists for more differentiations. Customization. When it comes to customization, MK11 has pretty insane customization. From the characters, weapons, to masks, and a bunch more. And then you'd compare this to Dragon Ball FighterZ with barely any alternate costumes and just recolors and reshades. Netcode. MK11 netcode is phenomenal, compared to Dragon Ball FighterZ especially. If you compare this to Dragon Ball FighterZ delay netcode, especially with the added input delay on PS4 and PS5 and 2+ frames compared to the PC version, you can really feel that it's very good online, unless the opponent is kicking the router, of course. Offline. Story-wise, it crushes Dragon Ball FighterZ, because Dragon Ball FighterZ is easily repetitive and is basically fan service. In the game's specific combat towers gives you many cosmetics and makes it very rewarding to play, giving you lots of gold and costumes, making it a lot better than Dragon Ball FighterZ offline. Conclusion. MK11 is which the Dragon Ball FighterZ devs should look upon for inspiration for future titles or a new season, making the game better for the long term.